Hello and welcome to Tabletop Oddity. My name is Jay and today we're going to have a closer look at the announcements for Star Wars Legion from Gen Con last night. So we're looking at Chewbacca, the Wookiees and the Specialists. So last night I stayed up, made a quick video, which was basically just me being like, these have been announced. And we didn't really have much. They have said that there's going to be an article on the Chewbacca and the Wookiees. That's probably coming today, but we've got these like reasonable high quality pictures of them anyway. So I'm just going to forego waiting for the article and we'll just talk about the pictures. The article might have one of the command cards in or something like that. They often do, but they don't generally have too much information. So I'm pretty happy to just go with what we've got. Anything else to say? I don't think so. So let's get on with the show. So last night I was very tired. I didn't sleep particularly well, but you know, I'm here. So we're cracking on. Chewbacca. The big announcement from last night was the Clone Wars. I'm not really going to talk too much about that because there's nothing to really show. But Chewbacca, on the other hand, well, yeah, he's very interesting. I've got to say, he looks like he's about 100 points. You might not be able to see it on the screen, but I've got a slightly like bigger version in front of me. But there's a couple of interesting things about him. 9 health. He's got 9 wounds. I mean, this guy is hard to kill, which I'm very intrigued about. His courage is 2, but we'll get onto why that's not necessarily that important in a second. He's got an attack surge to a crit. He's got a nice melee, like just 4 red dice on his melee. His range is 1 to 3, 2 red, 2 white, impact 1, PS 1. That's all right, it's fine. But his like special rules are very interesting. I can't make out his command cards or the what's it called, the upgrades, but meh, we're gonna ignore that. We'll talk about what he's actually got. He's got, I think it's called Enrage 4. So when he takes 4 wounds, he gains charge and his courage becomes infinite. So basically he enrages himself. You can't stop him. I don't want to do spoilers, but think episode 7. You know, at the end of that, he's like, I'm gonna kill everybody. Well, he doesn't speak English, but you know, he would say I was gonna kill everybody, I'm sure. Yeah, so then he gets infinite courage and he can just move and charge people, which would be very nice with him. Expert climber, yeah, that's fine. He's got Guardian 3, which I find a little bit weird because that's people sacrificing themselves for him. Maybe the Wookiees would, but I'm not really bothered by that. And then he's got a teammate, Han Solo. So basically that says when, if they're within range 1 to 2, when one of them gets a token, the other one gets the same token. I'm not sure if that's when they take an action or if they just get it. So like, imagine if Leia, well, like, you'd have 3 commanders, but just in this situation, you gave them both a dodge. Would they then both get 2 dodges? Very interesting. I mean, I like the fact that he's got a bit of fluff with Han Solo. I was a little bit worried once we saw Han and there was nothing about Chewie. I was like, oh, that's weird. But no, we actually have something. And he's unhindered, so he's not slowed down by difficult terrain. His command card there includes Han Solo, which I think is a nice little nod. So obviously, you know, he's an operative. I didn't even say that. I should have started with that. He's an operative, not a commander. So most of his command cards are going to be like him related. Yeah, that's I completely forgot about that. It's fairly important. So when it came to Chewie, I was like under the impression we'd get Obi-Wan or Yoda or something like that. But Alex Davey on the forum apparently said there were no Force users incoming. So with that in mind, Chewie was sort of the obvious one to arrive. And so it has, I love the number of wounds. I find that like so intriguing. All in all, feels quite flavorful. He's good friends with Han, his teammate, do you want to call it. A nice amount of wounds. That enrage ability is cool. I think all in all, Chewie nailed the fluff. Like, I'm all about trying to translate our perception of them into the rules, and they've done a great job here, as they've done a great job with, say, like Boba Fett and stuff like that. So let's have a look at the Wookie Warriors. Yeah, they've got charge, they've got expert climber. That indomitable, I think, is basically when they are suppressed, they roll a red dice instead of a white dice, so they got more chance of being unsuppressed. But it's basically the equivalent of the Royal Guard, essentially. Yeah, very interesting. I think they've got 3 wounds each, which is quite a lot of wounds on the table there. So the 75 points, I think all in all though, they're going to be pretty decent. Range 1 to 2 black, 1 black dice, 1 white dice. Pretty good. I've got nothing really extra to say about these. I think there's a new grenade somewhere. I can't actually see where that is, but apparently that's on there. And you can see the upgrade for the warrior there. I can't exactly. Bowcaster warrior, 1 red, 1 white, impact 1, pierce 1. Fine. They're going to be a solid unit. They'll have the place. You probably want to obviously get up in the grill and take them on like that. Yeah, I love the models as well. I like the fact that these guys have got like a specific look about them that's a little bit different from Chewie. Chewie actually sort of needed to look like Chewie because otherwise he'd just blend in with the Wookiees. It's weird to me having the Wookiees because the Wookiees aren't actually properly in the original trilogy, are they? I think they're more in the Clone Wars, but they obviously needed some more units, so that's where they've gone. And then, so that's, you know, that's the Rebel version of Palpatine and the Royal Guard. We've got Chewie and the Wookie Warriors. Fine, love the alliteration. And then we had an announcement about the Imperial Specialists, and I was so intrigued how they were going to do droids and stuff like that. And I did not expect this, but I'm very happy about the way they're doing it. So it's a pack that basically includes 4 miniatures, but they're not like one unit. Like that, the command card you see there is just for the Rebel Officer, which is a generic Rebel Officer. It's not, you know, that's not for all 4 of those guys. It'd be quite an eclectic mix of models, wouldn't it? I'm not 100% sure what the droids are actually going to do, and the Rebel commandery guy, not 100% sure what's going on there. But what this basically is, a generic officer that you can put in your unit for, well, this is 50 points. You get generic command cards that can be used for anybody. So that's pretty good. And I like the fact the generic officer basically means you can sort of assign a name to him yourself and be a little bit more customizable in the universe. Like you can be like, Dave, kill him, Dave, because you know he's not a pre-signed character. And you could probably have more than one if you wanted. And interestingly, I quite like the rules with it. It's basically got like a watered down version of the of like Leia and Veer's rules. Take cover 1, interesting. Inspire 1, fantastic. Sharpshooter 1. Do you know what I mean? It's very similar to Leia in that sense, but like toned down. 4 wounds, 2 courage, fine. Both attack and defensive surge. Black and white dice on the attack there. Range 1 to 2, bit annoying. Because as you can see, the Rebel officer in the bottom, like right at the bottom, you can actually put this officer in other units. You'll see if he's got that upgrade card where it's like an extra trooper. So instead of taking an extra trooper, you can take a Rebel officer. Now, what you don't get his normal card if you do that. You don't get everything on his card. He basically just becomes the leader of that unit. But you do increase your courage by 1. You gain Inspire 1, so very similar anyway, and you become the leader of that unit. I just really like that as a concept, that you can, basically adding models to units that we've already got, and the fact that they're going to do it in this specialist way, like opens up the possibilities in the future, I think, as well. As I said, there is one for the guy in green, the Rebel communication guy, probably a Rebel commander officer or something like that. And the 2 droids are probably heal. One, I can't actually read that. One it starts TR and the other one starts RE, which possibly could be like recover for free, possibly something like that, which would be very interesting. If it is recover for free, you might end up with the like ion. Is it the ion cannon? Whatever, the ion weapons that get like exhausted being more useful. But yeah, I love the models as well. Just having droids. I sort of wanted R2-D2 and C-3PO, but I'll take this. And at least this sort of opens up that R2-D2 and C-3PO might get added in as either characters or another specialist box. Generic command things, they look fine. I quite like that number 1. That number 1 says your opponent has to use 1 less, going to give orders to 1 less unit on its card to a minimum of 1. That's the Rebel one. The Imperial one, I quite like that. I said this last night. Quite like that the generic commander is a lady. The Imperials are very short of women in the as models. Whereas the Rebels have some troopers and stuff like that, whereas the Imperials don't. So it's quite nice to have one. Spotter one, so it's like a toned down version of Via's. Yeah, pretty much interesting like that. Again, that Imperial officer can be added to the units. It looks like the droids do the exact same thing because they start off with the same thing, like TR and RE. And I really like the models. The droid in the back, especially, it's probably got a special name and I don't know it because I'm not really a huge Star Wars fan, so which is quite embarrassing. But here we are. Let's not dwell on this situation. But yes, fantastic. I really like it. Really flavorful. And yeah, there's not really going to be anything extra in this article. The Wookiees are going to come after Palpatine, and then we're going to get the specialists at the end of the year, or maybe the start of next year. And then we are looking at the Clone Wars, possibly. I think the Clone Wars are going to be summer next year, maybe even winter next year. So it's nice to know that it's coming, but I think they said they were going to talk about it, I think maybe next year, early next year. So that suggests we're not going to get it for quite a while. But either way, I am really, really happy with the announcements. I like the rules. I think it's quite flavorful. I love the new factions. Is absolutely mind-blowing. What I mean by, no, it's not, it doesn't blow my mind in that sense, but it's so pivotal to the variance in the game. It allows you so you don't have to collect every faction. The variety is massively increased. The droids, I'm in love with battle droids. Just don't know why, I just love battle droids. So I'm very excited. I was thinking about this, there's so many characters that you could do. You could have Obi-Wan, Grievous, Dooku. I would flip my actual, you know what, if we get Jar Jar. I just love it. They should like troll us on April 1st or something and announce and release Jar Jar. I would love it. Or even Darth Jar Jar, that'd be quite amusing. Anyway, I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you like Chewie, Wookiees, the specialist? I mean, we can talk about the Clone Wars. It's weird to talk about the Clone Wars because we don't have that much to say right now. But obviously, it's such a hype moment that it's hard to ignore. So let me know your thoughts on that as well. But yeah, everything that we've seen here today, I'm pretty happy with. Yeah, I got nothing else to say, so I'm gonna go. That's the end of the video. Thanks to everybody who supports me on Patreon. I realise I don't say that enough, so I'm saying it now. Really appreciate that. If you want to join, there's a link below. Any little helps. It honestly means quite a lot. If you like this video, do like. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed, please. And as ever, have a most beautiful, beautiful day. Goodbye. Bye.